This is the Algebra non-calculator worksheet C. Okay, so the sheet you should have in front of you and you should be looking at should look like this. And let's go through the answers. Okay, so the first one, right, it's really important you read the question carefully and you recognize that they're talking about n, which is an integer in this case. You should really know how to do this one. We usually write the whole numbers between -2 and 3 and get rid of the ones that we don't want. In this case, because there isn't a line under this inequality here, we're not including 3. So the answer is -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and not 3. We don't put 3 in there, and that's the answer. Make sure you actually get this right and you're able to do it. Question 2 is factorize. Factorize means to put it into brackets. So we're going to put a pair of brackets there. They're just two terms. You can see that you should be able to see that 15 and 10 are both divisible by 5. 5 is the biggest number that can go into there, and they both have a's in common, so 5a is what I'll put outside. 5a times 3a is 15a squared, and 5a times 2 is 10a. You should be pretty okay with that. Okay, question 3. 4x times 3x. 4 times 3 is 12. X times x is x squared. Pretty straightforward that. Minus, and then 4x times 2 is 8x. Okay, question 4. Need to get rid of this plus 4 here. So I'm going to minus 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. I have 8x left behind, and don't forget to put that inequality in. I need to get rid of the 8. That 8 is times in the x, so I divide by 8. 2 divided by 8, I could write that as a fraction. Let's simplify that fraction to a quarter. Make sure you put the inequality in here every single time, right? Or else you lose a really easy mark there. Question number 5. Okay, we need to substitute all these x values into this equation and work out the y value each time. So I'm going to do 2 squared, which is 4, take away 5 times 2, which is 10. 4 take away 10 is minus 6. Same thing here. 1 squared is 1. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 take away 5 is minus 4. I'll put 0 in there. 0 squared is 0. Take away 5 times 0, which is 0 again. That's just 0. Now these are the tricky ones. Minus 1 squared is minus 1 times minus 1, which is plus 1. Minus 5 times minus 1 is plus 5. So plus 1 plus 5 is positive 6. Do the same with the minus 2. Minus 2 squared, minus 2 times minus 2 is positive 4. Minus 5 times minus 2 is positive 10. Positive 4 and positive 10 is 14. Okay, tricky this one is, but make sure you do it again, you're okay with it, and you are able to do this. Question 6. Okay, write down the inequality shown by this diagram. Okay, because this is solid, there's going to be a line on this side. Because this is empty, there's going to be no line under this side of the inequality. Because they're talking about x's, I'm going to start with x, put the crocodiles down, and as I said before, this one here is going to have a line underneath it because this one's solid. No line under the left-hand inequality. The numbers I'm going to put are minus 1 and minus 4, and here they are, minus 1, minus 4, and that is my answer. Number 7. 3 times 7 is 21, and then I'm going to times the indices. In this case, I need to add the powers, so it's going to be a to the power 5. Question 8, I need to multiply the brackets. That's 6e minus 18 is equal to 2e minus 2. I need to bring all the letters on one side, all the numbers on the other. So I'll have 6e, bring the 2e across, and that's going to become minus 2e. And the minus 2 is going to stay put. That minus 18 is going to come across to become positive 18. I'll just tidy up each side because we're almost there. 6e take away 2e is 4e. Minus 2 plus 18 is 16. You can see the answer coming. I need to divide by 4, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. So e is equal to 4. Pretty straightforward this question is, but very, very likely to come up in the exam. This style of question, letters and numbers, and especially multiplying our brackets. Question 9. In question 9, if we look at how these are changing, they're going up by 6 each time. So 6n, and the number in front of the 3, if there was one, would be minus 3. So 6n minus 3. The reason is 117 a term in this sequence? Well, let's have a look at it. 6n minus 3 is equal to 117. We need to make it equal to that. Add 3 to each side. I'm going to get 6n is equal to 120. Divide that by 6. You're going to get 20. So if n is 20, that means it's a whole number. So 117 is a term in the sequence. Make sure you're really comfortable with this. Again, question 9 and 10 are questions very likely to come up in the exam. Question 11 and 12 are often connected questions. To factorize a quadratic, you're going to get two brackets for this, and I've laid them out for you already. I'm going to have x at the front of each. I need two numbers that times together to give me 21, and the two obvious ones that come to mind are 7 and 3. I need to combine them to give me minus 10. So that actually is very straightforward because they both need to be negative in order for that to happen, minus 7 and minus 3. Question 12 means is a question which it says solve this quadratic. It's equal to 0 this time. When you're solving a quadratic, you first of all have to factorize, which we did in number 11. And then you just write the opposite signs of each of the numbers in the brackets. So I'm going to have plus 7 and plus 3. And it's as simple as that. Question 13. 36 divided by 18 is 2. X to the 9 divided by x to the 5. I'm going to take away the powers. 9 take away 5 is 4. That's it. Pretty straightforward. Question 14. I'm going to have 10m all squared. Take away 7 all squared. Right? Think about that. This is the difference of two squares. So my answer is going to be 10m plus 7 and 10m minus 7. So we could have those two brackets the other way around, but that's fine as it is. Question 15. Very similar to the one that was done in set A. Okay, what I need to do here is start off with the x and think about what happens to it each time. So x is being squared, then it's being times by 3, then you're adding 8, and all of that gives you y. So let's draw a flow diagram for that. X is being squared, it's being times by 3, you add 8, and all of that gives you y. Work that backwards. Y, take away 8, divide by 3, you need to square root the whole lot, and that will all give you x. So I'm going to have x is equal to y take away 3 divided by all of that divided by 3. Sorry, y take away 8, all of that divided by 3, and then square root the whole thing. That gives me x. Do study this carefully. If you get a question of this type, you should be able to do it. You should be able to get full marks in it. Question 16. I need to get rid of that 5 underneath there. So times by 5. 2 times 5 is 10. So we're going to get 9 minus 4x is equal to 10. I need to get rid of the 9 now. So I'm going to take away 9. Minus 4x is equal to 10 take away 9 is 1. Okay, make sure you study that and you understand that. And you should be able to do the rest easily now. I need to get rid of the minus 4. So I'm going to divide by minus 4. And that's simply x is equal to 1 over minus 4. That's it. Question 17. I need to square each of the three terms in there. So I'm going to square 4, I'm going to square x cubed, and I'm going to square y to the 5. So do write it out like this. Always write this out first. Right, you're likely to pick up a mark for this and then square each term. So 4 squared is 16. X cubed squared, you times the powers this time because of the brackets. So you get x to the 6. Y to the 5 squared is going to be y to the 10. You times the powers. 5 times 2 is 10. Question 18. I need to factorize this. 14 and 21. 7 is the biggest number that can go into both of those. Both the terms have x's and both the terms have y. So I'm going to have 7xy outside the brackets. 7xy, 7 times 2 is 14, and that's an x squared there, so I need to put an x inside, and there's only one y, and I have only one y there, so I'm going to have 2x inside the brackets, minus, and 7xy times, it's simply going to be 3 to get 21xy. Okay, question 19, you need to think about this a little bit. 52 divided by 4 is 13. E to the 6 divided by e to the 1. Now you should write a little 1 over here. Once you see this, you should put a little 1. So 6 take away 1 is 5, so it's going to be e to the 5. And f to the 8 take away 2 is 6, f to the 6. Question 20. Now times the brackets, 2x times x is 2x squared. 1 times 5 is 5, but it's a minus 1 and that's a plus 1, so it's going to be minus 5. I'm going to do minus 1 times x, which is minus 1x, and 2x times 5, which is positive 10x. Tidy this up now, and I'm going to get 2x squared plus 9x minus 5. Okay, this is a pretty straightforward set of questions. You really should be able to do all of these by now. Make sure you actually are. Rewind this and look at it again if necessary, and make sure you are able to do them.